Hello and welcome to the basic guide for Pirates of the Burning Sea MMO. If you're a seasoned player, if you've got any more than a couple of days into this game, you probably don't need to be watching this, but it's just due to the absence of manuals, etc. I thought this video guide would be appropriate. Two servers that are open at the moment is Roberts EN and Antigua, also known as Tiggy. I'm from the EU, but I tend to play on the Tiggy server simply because the majority of the population is over there. You need not worry, because as explained later on in one of my Unrest stroke PvP videos, people can't flip ports at 2 AM, 3 AM kind of thing anymore. Alright, so basically everybody, no matter what the time zone is, can get into a port battle, and yeah, time zones don't really matter on this server, you know, so jump straight in. It's absolutely fine. Alright, so as a new starter, you'll be presented with this screen minus characters. You can have two characters in a nation. You can't cross nation in this game. What I mean by that is you've got various factions, which is pirates, and then you've got the national factions, which is British, Spanish, French. And the difference between them is pirates is kind of like an anti-faction. Alright, you've got Cutthroat, which is like a tanky, debuffing, kind of high damage, short range character who can take over ships at around about level 10 and use them for his own devices. The Buccaneer, which is a bit more of a hybrid of a trader and a pirate. However, these guys can hit and run or catch people down and hit them with high mobility. Then on the national sides, you're going to have a privateer, which is basically like a pirate that's been entrusted with the ability to hunt down other pirates for a nation. Alright, given permission to do so. So they lean more towards the pirate skill set. Then you've got a free trader, which is a free trader obviously, and is good with the economy, etc. And then you've got a naval officer, which excels at long range combat. So they're the guys with the big guns, who can strike down enemies from afar, and all the skills relate to that. So as a pirate, you want to kind of close the distance towards the enemy, and as a national, you want to keep the distance towards the enemy. Alright, so you're going to be faced with a screen similar to this without the extra character. You're going to simply click create character, and you'll be presented with this screen here where you'll get Cutthroat or Buccaneer, and then you can simply create your character. So we're going to go for a Cutthroat. You can randomise the names here to make it a little bit more simple for yourself, or choose a name. You can't put captain in. That's one of the things you can't do, and it won't take obscene words or suggestive words or full stops or exclamation marks, etc, etc. So make it a little bit more simple on yourself. When you pick something, it will have a different variety. Alright, and you can see that changing the hat, and you've got different colours here. One of the first things you're going to do is change the preferences as well, because for some players it might start in really bad lowest quality settings. That's normal, you know. So when you get into game, just switch everything up to the top visibility and textures, etc. And I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Okay, so here we are in game. Anyone with a question mark like this above their heads is where you save the game or you continue the part of the quest. It's a nice healthy box here that you can click forward and backwards, and it'll show you what stage you're on. You'll see little shiny things appear that'll tell you, you know, what to click on next on the tutorial. You do not have to do this tutorial. Right? You can skip by simply clicking this little icon here. However, I suggest you do. The first thing you need to do in game is just check your preferences are correct. You hit escape, go to preferences, make sure your resolution's up, make sure your textures are up. Alright, your audio is going to be really loud, so you probably want to set it something like this. Alright, because it is a very, very, very loud game. As you can see, I have the extended toolbars. To get to that, go to interface, click enable manual UI adjustment, and as you can see, you can move things around like so. Alright, don't fiddle with it too much. And then what you want is toolbar 1, 2. You lay them along here, lay them down here. Alright, and then you go back to interface, up to the top, and when you're happy, lock it out by doing that. Alrighty, so as you can see, I've laid the skills out along here. You want to probably move these ones over here, because that's your bandage, that's your revive, that's your sprint. Anything that says avatar or ship controls is kind of useless, right? Which is this one here. Don't need that. Alright, so you can get rid of that. Alright, so we're going to skip. As you can see, it's WSAD to move around. Alright, so you can be a keyboard turner, or you can be a mouse turner if you hold down both mouse buttons like this. If you're not happy with the way the guy looks, you know, my guy's a little bit grumpy, you can go to a tailor in a main city, which is in the store. So for pirates, it would be Tortuga. Alright, so you go into the back room, do a couple of doubloons, I think it costs. I'm not sure if it still costs anything or not. You go to the back room and you can change the face, the appearance, the hair, all of that. Alright, so it's not a problem at all if you're not happy about the way the avatar looks. Alright. Just saying, at any point you could have skipped this tutorial, right? But I'll just show you that it works exactly the same as another MMO. You literally tap the keys. Literally tap the keys to attack exactly like any other MMO. So you've got thrust on 1, so that'll stab the guy. Got good gun. Number 3, shoot him, stab him. So if you speak to that NPC, it'll take you into the tutorial. Alright. Yeah, you'll get a few drops from it. You'll get a few XP from it, but you really don't have to do it if you don't want to. Depends if you want to get a little bit confused with what's going on. You can see you skip forward like so. Okay, with this AV combat, you'll see the blue. That's your guard. When that's gone, you'll start taking health damage. The enemy's guard's gone because his blue bar's gone. That means he will now take damage from my attacks. This is your sprint key as well to move around quicker during the AVCOM section of the game, which stands for Avatar Combat. And when you're wandering around the towns. Alright, so I'm going to skip the tutorial now. I don't advise doing this though, it's your first time playing through. Alrighty, so you'll be presented with a screen similar to this depending on what faction you pick. This is your average town layout. You can press L for a mini-map, and if you can see these areas that are highlighted, that's where you have to go next. Alright. All the icons for the different towns are the same. Your sack thingy is basically the shop and the auction house. Clash tankards, that's your public house, your pub. And anything with a book is the trainer. So that there is where our class trainer is, and down here is where the avatar combat trainers are. This chap here lets you out, the longboat coxswain will let you out onto the sea, which is the open world. Don't have to worry about that at the moment. You want to basically hang around here doing starter quests until level 5. So, like so, he tells you to go and see the trainer and get started on the economy. Alrighty. So anything with a question mark above the red gives a question. It's lit up on the mini-map, as you can see. Alright. So, there's another way to find what quest you're on as well. A book basically means it's a tutorial mission. Alright. A single person means it's a solo mission and you can't have a mate help you on it. If there's more than one of those, it's a group mission. But the majority of the game, I'll probably say 60 to 70% of the missions can be completed by creating a group. So you click on the player or add them to friends here, and then their name will pop up here and you can join the group with them and basically activate the group quest to go straight into them as a friend. With a friend, sorry. Make it a lot easier because this game is very, very hard. When you get past level 10, it gets exceedingly hard. And you will find yourself struggling with level 15 quests at level 20. Alright? There's easy ways to do them, but you know, you have to figure it out for yourself. Another way to check your distance to a quest is to press J. And it will show you in yards where you need to go. Because sometimes in the larger towns it gets a little bit cluttered. As you can see, it's counting down. So if you can't see that lit up portion of the map, then you can use the yard marker. See that? 1 yard denotes it's in there. Alright. So we'll go back up this way. So I'm just walking down some random path without paying attention where I'm going. Alright, so go up to the first quest, which is speak to this chap here. This is your cutthroat skill trainer. If you click all skills, it will show you what you can pick. I strongly suggest you go down the survival tree. No matter what class you are, go down the survival tree, because it gives you your shields and your heals. You need that, because you're going to be taking a lot of damage in ship combat. So that's the cutthroat trainer. This is the buccaneer trainer. Opening up the map, you start off as one of a few fighting schools, and this is where your trainers are for those. You've got the dirty fighting trainer, that's for cutthroats. Florentine trainer, you can take that at a later stage. Fencing is buccaneer, and you've got hand-to-hand fighting as well, which is brawling. You'll get a skill respec as part of the tutorial, so don't worry if you're not happy with that fighting style. But fencing lends itself to defensive tactics more, and the dirty fighting is more of an aggressive, offensive playstyle. If you press C, you'll open up your character. And just like other MMOs, you can get different gear. So you can get your pistol for range damage, you can get your cutlass for short range damage. If it's fencing, it's going to be a rapier. And then you're going to be able to add boots, gloves, jewellery into this slot here. Alright. This slot up here is for a pet. You can get a pirate as one of the a parrot as one of the quests. You can actually buy some as well. This here is the cash shop in the game. It's not really pay to win. You can get ship insurance in case your ship gets sunk, because you have durability on the ship. Captured ships have 1 durability, but you can refill it using extra captured deeds, which basically give you extra lives. Or you can basically buy player built ships, which come with 4 durability. Now what will go missing on them is, we'll look at the ship screen now. If you get killed, it'll reset your ship to this. Alright. But these slots here are general outfitting slots, right? It's for general upgrades. They'll be like speed boost, turning boost, better cannons, and those won't go missing on your ship. But if you get sunk, these are your permanent fittings, alright? So some of these could be like additional armour, there could be quicker sails, tougher sails, better guns. Alright. So as you can see here, there's a couple of tabs to the UI. This is swashbuckling, this is for avatar combat. Default, this is going to be on when you're in a town. When you go to an open sea, it will say open sea. I don't really use anything in there right now. Alright, and then when you go to a ship combat, this one will unlock. Alright, and again you can remove this one, this attack one, because default the spacebar will attack. Alright. These are kind of buffs, these are the default ones to increase your turning speed, your reload rate. This is the skill we've just got. Alright, so what I tend to do is I tend to put buffs over here somewhere. Alright, and keep the combat skills all together and the repair skills all together. Now how to use a skill? Right, so basically you can click on it. If it's greyed out, it won't operate, and a lot of them have to be finished on the cooldown, or if you've got firing arcs on a ship, the enemy ship needs to be within range and within that firing arc. I've got a different video I'm going to show you in a minute that's going to be slapped in. It will show a nighttime battle with a higher level ship, because it's better at nighttime. Alright, but to use the skills you can click on them, so when the correct parameters happen, like the ship's in range, it will fire off, or you can control click, which means that skill will keep being used. So how is that good? Let's say if you're doing swashbuckling and you're getting overwhelmed, you control click number 1, and you keep backpedaling and turning and backpedaling and turning and backpedaling and turning, and he'll keep stabbing when he's able to. Alright? So that's when you would use a control click. Also, when a ship is in combat, if you just stick to a normal attack, which is like your normal spacebar attack, you would keep that attack icon on the bars and you would control click it. Don't worry if you've removed it. If you click the book down here, you'll see all the skills in here for swashbuckling, sailing, and then your personal recipes, because the economy in this game is cannons to rope to sails to... So while we hunt for a ship, we'll talk about the rest of the display. This is Treasure Isle. As I said, it's not really pay to win. You get everything from clothing to economy, buildings in here. It just makes everything a little bit more simple for you, because your default economy slots are 2, so you can't do a lot with that, but with a little bit of money in there, a couple of quid if that, alright, you can get 10 slots unlocked, which Yeah, it's a game changer for economy, basically. As you see, these guys are green at the moment, but that's one of the enemy factions. When they go red, you know, they're attackable. Anything like smugglers or brethren are on your side as a pirate. Done the skills. This is your journal. We've done that. Tells you what quest you're on next. Map. Social interaction. Again, you can join a society, which is basically a guild. You have to speak to somebody in-game via this nation chat here. As you can see that as well. Alright, which is within a certain radius. Don't need to worry too much about this at this early stage. This basically says who's winning in the Covenant Revolution. It all gets reset when it's over. And you get marks handed over to winners, which can be used to purchase ships and equipment later on. There we go, need to take it. No. So I'm probably going to die a horrible death here because this guy's in a better ship than me, but you want to make sure that the wind's behind you when you're coming up to a ship. Alright. You want to get as close as you can. You look for this indicator here. Alright, so this guy's level 5, I'm level 1, you know. You'd normally be level 5 at this moment in time. You tap the space bar, this gets you into a mission. Alrighty, so we're in a battle now. Okay, you can hit the tab key and it will show you where the nearest ship is, or you can zoom out on your mini-map and it shows you where the wind's coming from. Kind of prep that. What you can do is you can fire individual cannons by clicking on them with the left mouse button. If not, spacebar will fire all available cannons, and so will the skills. When you get the skills eventually, some will do, you know, there'll be different shots, like overload shot for instance. What you want to make sure you do is you fire off the small cannons first before you fire off the larger deck guns, because there's nothing worse than firing off two 9-pound cannons when you've got another 12 cannons which are 12 pound that could have fired that skill off and increased the damage by 40%. Alright, so just be aware of that. And remember, this little line here is the optimum ship speed in battle for when you're wanting accuracy at long range. Alright, so you want to be below this little line here for your speed. Alright, this is morale. Alright, this is what denotes when you can use skills. Think of it as energy. You know, so this here is your crew morale. Different things boost it, like, you know, you can get rum and things like that. Alright, this here is your guns, how many guns you've got on the ship. They can get destroyed. So you've got a thing called spare guns, which is a consumable. You use it for that. This is your mast integrity. Alright, different shot damages the mast. So if you want to destroy someone's mast and take over the ship, I've got a speed boarding guide and a boarding guide you can look at if you're interested in the boarding combat aspect of the game. And this is your crew, how many crew you've got. Alright, this green wheel here is showing what damage you've taken and where. Alright, and this is normally what you're looking at when you're racing to damage the other player or NPC. As you can see on mine, I have 237 out of 360. He has 175 out of 360. So I'm winning the race here for damage. So I'll just stay alongside him. Do you see as I slowed down the accuracy is going up? So that now is optimum for us. Got 97% accuracy. If I get closer, it'll go up to 100. Alright, I'm just spamming the spacebar here every time that goes green. This is a firing arc here. And you will see this is lit up and green. That means it can be fired. Alright, so he's within the range for those cannons and within the firing arc. Alright. So you get different consumables called hull patches. They'll live here. Hull patch will repair the side armour but not the internal armour. A structural brace, it looks like a pole, will repair the internal hull armour. A keg of rum is for your crew. And a mast brace is for your blue, which is your sails. Alright. How to sink a ship? Well, basically you get through the armour on the side you're penetrating, and then the middle bit will start to go down if you look at this little thing in the top right. And if it's an NPC, there's a chance that when this gets down to about 50%, they'll give up. Alright, you can then capture the derelict ship or scavenge it. Alright, If you board them and kill all their crew, you win and it becomes a derelict straight away. Or if they're completely crazy, they'll fight to the death, and there's a chance of that. You don't know what's going to happen, really. And some NPCs will fight you to the death, like quest NPCs. So it becomes a lot more difficult and a lot more risky. Right? And if you want to save the ship, you kind of have to board it, otherwise it will get blown up. Down here, what's flashing, this is your loot. So I got small arms from the fight. If I was about level 10 as a cutthroat, I could steal that ship and have a slightly better ship. Alright, if I was a buccaneer, I could scavenge it with like a little skill. Looks like a chest, and I get the chance of getting the D's to the ship, which I can use straight away to pilot that ship. Alright, now, so we sunk him. Got a significant portion of XP. If you look at the bottom of the screen here, the blue bar is your XP. That's your progress to the next level. Alright. So to get back into port, you simply sail as close as you can to the port, and you hop in when this little arrow goes yellow. If you look at the map, the red areas here are PvP. If you go into those areas, you can be attacked if you match the strength requirements of the attacking enemy. Best to stay out of them as a newbie. So what have we covered? We've covered basic economy. There will be an economy guide I'll do later on. There's PvP, we've just scratched the surface of that. I'll do a PvP guide on Unrest and stuff later on. I've already got a boarding guide if you're interested in that. It's on Slightly Mad 79 on YouTube, or it'll be on the guide section. We can follow it through this video also. We've basically chatted about societies. We've shown you how to change controls, etc. to suit you, and preferences, how to rearrange your toolbars, pick your skills, and find out where your inventory is and where to load in items. The last thing I'll show you here is your dockyard. Now what will happen is you can only have 3 spaces by default. To get rid of one of the other ships, you literally have to empty its inventory here into a warehouse or into another ship that you're using, and then you click scuttle ship and it will completely erase it and all fittings that are on it, so be aware of that. Alright, but then it allows you to have a space to then capture another ship, because guaranteed when you have that skill at level 10 that everybody gets, which allows you to take over the ship, the first thing everyone will say is, I can't do it because my inventory's full. It's actually ship inventory. You need to come here and check that out. In Treasure Isle, you can pay a little bit of money, ship storage, and have more ships at the nation's capital, which is here, Tortuga, or Port Royal if you're a Brit, and so forth. Right, so that's how you get more ships. Alright, but by default you can have 3. The ship we were looking at is your fallback ship, so even if you delete it, even if it goes and you get sunk and you've got no more ships, it'll still give you this Halifax schooner back to go back into. So you really don't need to worry about that. Alright, where we're looking now. Remember what I said about the durability of a ship is here? It's 1. So let's say, for instance, I capture a ship called Light Bell Corvette. Alright, I've got 1 of them. Alright, its durability is 1 because it's captured. That means if it gets sunk once in PvP or dies in a battle, you lose it. It's gone. Alright, so how can I increase the lives of it? I basically try and get more deeds for that ship. The way to do it is you get a buccaneer to hand you the deeds, which it's a 10% chance to get them from sinking that said ship. Or you can buy a player-made one from the auction house, which is, you know, it comes with 4 Dura. Right, so that's the way of doing it. And sometimes quests give you ships as well. Or you can buy them in Treasure Isle. Right, so you can do any of those scenarios. Right. I hope that's been a little bit helpful for you. If you want me to focus on a specific part of the game, let me know. But as I said before, there's going to be more guides in the future. We've got the boarding guide already up right now. And I will do one on economy, and I will do one on PvP stroke Unrest as well. Alright, thank you for watching. See you in game.